Good, happy Wednesday evening, February 12th, 2020. I'm Riley King, and welcome to this evening edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. We have a lot of news to get to this evening, so let's get started. First up, Deval Patrick suspends campaign for president. Former Massachusetts governor drops out of the race after New Hampshire primary. Also, Andrew Yang dropped out of the race, and Michael Bennet dropped out of the race as well. Granite Staters take stock after New Hampshire primary. Voters say they take pride in state's role in process. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Ray Brewer.
The day after the New Hampshire primary. And while the political world shifts its focus, New Hampshire voters are reflecting about what they just experienced.
It's exciting for our state. I enjoy it personally. It is exhausting, but it's good to see people get engaged on both sides of the debate.
I think just being in Manchester in general is just really exciting, but I'm definitely ready to kind of move on from the last couple of weeks and kind of see what happens from here.
In contrast to Iowa, where it took days to get results, the New Hampshire primary went off without a hitch, a point of pride for Granite Staters.
It's fun to kind of be in New Hampshire and be the first in the nation for the primary. There were some problems in Iowa. I don't really even understand caucuses, if I'm being completely honest.
It was a crowded field, and political experts say part of New Hampshire's job is to start narrowing down the field. And voters think here, too, the state did its job.
You know, we're great at vetting people and getting the chance to talk to people and listen to what they have to say. So I think people in New Hampshire are very invested in the future.
Still, voters say while the experience can be trying at times,
I am ready for a break, I guess, a little bit, the political thing.
they are glad for the chance to take part, something even out-of-staters can appreciate.
It's exciting. It's a true piece of Americana. I mean, everyone is descending here and seeing all the different news organizations and lots of people out there knocking on doors for their preferred candidates.
And if you are a political junkie, don't despair with New Hampshire likely being a swing state. One voter we talked to said those phone calls likely won't stop until the election in November. Reporting live in Manchester, Ray Brewer, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Number of flu-related deaths in New Hampshire rise to 9, officials say. All victims are adults, health officials say. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9. Okay, and there you go on that video. And we can also tell you flu-related deaths are on the rise in New Hampshire. Officials with the Department of Health and Human Services said 9 adults have died from the flu this season. No children have died from the flu in New Hampshire. Health officials said the flu is still widespread in the state and the number of cases have increased by more than 5% in the past week. Officials said the flu is especially dangerous for the young and old and those with underlying health concerns. The flu is most contagious in the first 24 to 48 hours of infection, often before people realize they have it. Experts said that's why it's so important to wash hands and cover coughs. Those with the flu should stay home from school or work until they're fever-free for at least 24 hours. It's also not too late to get the vaccine, either a shot or nasal spray. Woman convicted of abusing Great Danes appeals case before New Hampshire Supreme Court. Christine Fay appeals animal cruelty conviction. Police violated a woman's privacy by allowing an animal welfare group to take photos and videos as it helped gather dozens of filthy and sick Great Danes from her mansion. Material that was then posted online to raise money, the woman's lawyer argued Wednesday before the state Supreme Court in appealing her animal cruelty conviction. Christina Fay of Wolfboro was sentenced on 17 animal cruelty charges in 2018. A judge ruled that she would serve no jail time, but that she would be responsible for paying back more than $1 million for care of the dogs by the Humane Society of New Hampshire, which placed them with new owners. Authorities had gotten a search warrant and seized 84 dogs from Fay's home. They said the animals were living in filth and had health problems. Fay said she wanted to be the primary U.S. collector of European Great Danes and had been acquiring and breeding them since 2014. Wolfboro police said that didn't have the resources to transport and care for the dogs, so they enlisted the Humane Society's help. The society agreed to pay to take care of the dogs. A judge had earlier rejected the request by Fay's lawyers to suppress evidence gathered by the Humane Society. Fay appealed her case and asked the state Supreme Court to vacate her convictions. Fay's lawyer said police should have disclosed the Humane Society's role to the migrants who issued the warrant. A migrant might have disagreed with that, said. Senior Assistant Attorney General Susan McGinnis argued that the Humane Society never really solicited funds after putting out the photos, but that it explained its work on the case. Fay, she said, lost her right to privacy once the search warrant was issued. McGinnis also said no court has ever required police to say whom they are planning to use to assist them on a search warrant. It was observant from the police department's application for the warrant that it would need help for an animal rights group she said. Autopsy results released in death of woman at Timberland headquarters in Stratham. Victim's identity, cause of death released. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
So we do have breaking news now at 5:41. The Attorney General's office has just released autopsy results for a woman killed in Stratham on Sunday. The death of 46-year-old Catherine Hepner of Exeter has been ruled homicide. The autopsy shows Hepner died of stab wounds. 20-year-old Robert Paveo of Berwick, Maine, is charged with her murder.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Henniker police say no arrests have been made in connection with the Cripple shooting. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Vibrant caffeine gum. Ow! A caffeine boost with empowerment pow.
Right now, police in Henniker are stepping up patrols as they search for whoever shot 3 people. This happened Sunday near New England College. 2 of the 3 victims are students. All have since been released from the hospital, and so far, no arrests.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And let's take a look at that U.S. stock market and see how your U.S. stock market closed for this Wednesday evening. And here's a quick look at your U.S. stock market for this Wednesday evening. Dow jumps more than 250 points to a record. Stocks rose to all-time highs on Wednesday as investors shook off concerns over how the coronavirus would impact corporate profits and the global economy. Empire actor Jesse Smollett indicted in Chicago. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News. Sorry about that.
Of that new twist in the Jesse Smollett scandal, a special prosecutor is now indicting the actor who is accused of making up the story of his racially motivated attack. Alex Perez joins us now from Chicago with more. Good morning to you, Alex.
Hey, good morning, Michael. Almost a year since similar charges against Jesse Smollett were abruptly dismissed, the special prosecutor now handling the case says those charges should have never been dropped. Now, a grand jury on Tuesday indicted Smollett on 6 counts of disorderly conduct. Those charges related to allegations the actor allegedly staged a racist and homophobic attack against himself. Now, his attorneys argue this is about politics, not justice. He's due back in court on these new charges February 24th.
Hi, everyone.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. That does it for this evening edition of the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your evening, and I'll see you back here tomorrow for another newscast. And I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Good night and bye, everyone.